Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're detailing the epic 13.8 billion year heroic journey of our planet. Just look around us, from towering mountains and endless oceans to lush rainforests and sprawling deserts, Earth is an absolute masterpiece of diversity. But as we'll see, it definitely wasn't always this vibrant blue marble we get to enjoy today. Okay, let's dive into this. To truly appreciate our home, we have to take a massive, mind-bending leap back in time. We're talking back to when the entire universe, with all its unimaginable mass and energy, was literally squeezed into a single point smaller than an atom. Seriously, how did that microscopic speck transform into the incredibly complex world we know today? Well, it's a wild tale of cosmic violence, incredible luck, and just relentless evolution. All right, part one. Birth of the universe, a cosmic beginning. So the breathtaking speed at which things escalated is just hard to overstate. 13.8 billion years ago, the Big Bang triggered this massive rapid inflation. And as those initial extreme temperatures finally began to drop, a pretty magical new force took the stage: gravity. Gravity started pulling loose energy particles together to form the very first atoms of hydrogen and helium. Then those elements clumped together, eventually igniting the very first stars through nuclear fusion. Fast forward a few billion years, the Milky Way takes shape, and eventually, gravity pulls together enough gas and dust to ignite our very own sun. Moving on to part two, forging Earth and Moon, a violent creation. And this brilliantly illustrates just how crazy things were. The staggering contrast between our planet's past and present is almost hard to believe. Early Earth was, frankly, terrifying. It was a toxic, Venus-like sphere, completely covered in rivers of glowing lava, constantly getting battered by relentless meteor bombardments. It was a total hellscape, a phase so hot and volatile that it's utterly unrecognizable from the cool, solid, vibrant blue marble teeming with life that we call home today. And as if the constant meteor strikes weren't bad enough, Earth suffered a cataclysmic cosmic accident. Picture this. A Mars-sized rogue planet named Theia comes hurtling through space and smashes directly into Earth. This impact was so devastating that for a brief, wild moment, the collision actually morphed Earth into the shape of a giant donut. No joke. A massive ring of dust, rock, and gas orbited our wounded planet until, once again, gravity worked its magic, condensing all that debris into a solid sphere. And here is a mind-bending fact about that newly formed sphere: 200. When our moon was first born, it was incredibly close to Earth. If you could have stood on the surface back then, the moon would have appeared 200 times larger in the sky than it does tonight. Over billions of years, it's just been slowly, steadily drifting away from us into the night sky. That brings us to part three, water and first life, the miraculous spark. Okay, so extreme volcanic eruptions were continuously pumping out heavy gases that Earth's gravity trapped, which formed our very first atmosphere. But where did the water actually come from? Well, frozen ice-filled meteorites were still continuously bombarding the planet. Upon hitting the superhot surface, the ice instantly vaporized into massive storm clouds. And this triggered an epic deluge. We're talking millions of years of relentless, nonstop rain that eventually cooled the surface and filled up our vast, deep oceans. With the oceans finally in place, the ultimate mystery begins. How did life actually start? Science offers two really fascinating, well-researched theories here. The first suggests that the early atmosphere was just filled with extreme, constant lightning strikes. The famous David Miller experiment demonstrated that these electrical sparks could actually trigger chemical reactions in the primordial soup, creating amino acids, the fundamental building blocks of life. But the second theory? It's just as wild: panspermia. Because early Earth's oceans were literally boiling from those ongoing meteor strikes, some scientists believe life originated on a smaller, cooler Mars first, then fully formed bacteria hitched a ride on a meteorite and crash-landed right here into our oceans. Honestly, whichever way those first amino acids arrived, they eventually combined to create DNA inside protective cellular shells. Single cells evolved into complex multicellular life. And to prove just how deeply connected all life on Earth is from those very same early cells, consider this surprising little fact. Humans share about 50% of their DNA with bananas. Yep, you and your breakfast fruit evolved from the exact same primordial origin. Let's jump into part four, dinosaurs to extinction, a golden age ends. About 230 million years ago, early amphibians evolved, and massive creatures absolutely took over the planet. Dinosaurs ruled every corner of Earth, the land, the deep seas, and the skies above. They were magnificent, complex creatures that lived and hunted in social groups, and they definitely had to be tough, not just to survive each other, but to fend off giant, highly venomous insects that shared their prehistoric, oxygen-rich world. So, the crucial point is, this spectacular dominance was shattered in an absolute instant. About 65 million years ago, a massive asteroid, 27 kilometers wide, was knocked off its course and hurtled straight toward Earth. It slammed into the Gulf of Mexico at a staggering speed of 22,000 miles per hour. The flash upon impact was so intensely bright that it literally permanently blinded creatures for miles in every direction. The immediate aftermath of that impact was nothing short of an apocalyptic chain reaction. The crash triggered magnitude 12 earthquakes, awakening dormant volcanoes all across the globe. Monstrous tsunamis swallowed the coastlines. The blast vaporized rock, sending a supersonic dust cloud racing across the planet at 800 kilometers per hour. Displaced crust rained back down from the atmosphere as molten fire, while 150 degrees Celsius winds essentially turned the entire planet into a roaring oven. Finally, thick ash blocked out the sun entirely, plunging Earth into this freezing, acidic darkness. As you can imagine, this catastrophic event was a major turning point in Earth's history. 3/4 of all life on Earth, 75% of all species, were completely wiped out. The giant dinosaurs, who had reigned supreme for over 100 million years, lost their food sources, starved, and vanished forever. Which brings us to part 5, the rise of humans, our primate ancestors. So, who actually survived that hellish apocalypse? Amazingly, the ultimate survivors weren't armored giants, but tiny, 6-inch mammals weighing less than 25 kilograms. Because they were so small, they could hide safely underground and just scavenge on whatever scraps they could find. With the giant predators completely out of the picture, these little mammals flourished in the New World, eventually evolving into early primates that lived high up in the recovering forest canopies. Let's move to and see how this builds into our own specific history. Around 30 million years ago, a global cooling effect caused lush forests to shrink, replacing them with vast open grasslands. Then, about 5 million years ago, a massive tectonic shift in Africa created a completely new mountain range. This geographical change totally disrupted the monsoon rains, drying out the landscape. Our tree-dwelling ape ancestors were forced out of the dying forests and onto the dangerous open plains. To spot predators over the tall grass, they had to stand on 2 legs. They adapted to walk upright, evolving, step by step, into us. Finally, part 6, a warning for tomorrow, the ultimate threat. The source material highlights a sobering, completely impartial reality about our present day. Earth has survived unimaginable cosmic violence, from planetary collisions and asteroid impacts to snowball ice ages and supervolcanoes. Yet, according to the explainer sources, the current existential threat to our planet's environment doesn't come from outer space, it comes from us. The continuous environmental pollution and damage inflicted by human activity is rapidly altering the delicate balance of the planet that took 13.8 billion years to perfect. And this leaves us staring at a pretty profound mirror. We inherited a resilient, magnificent home, forged through sheer cosmic willpower. But if we don't change our ways and protect this delicate environment, will humanity become the asteroid of our own era? Will we become the cause of the next mass extinction, destroying ourselves and the incredible species around us? It's a massive question we must all face and answer together. Thanks for exploring this amazing journey with me. Keep learning and keep questioning.